First at 6. Hurricane preparation. Foreign affairs officials in Atlanta monitoring the progress of Hurricane Florence. Hospital upgrade. The health minister confirming more upgrades at the Princess Margaret Hospital. And remembering Britannian. University of the Bahamas students honoring the life of one of their colleagues. The Bahamas Tonight, First at 6, starts right now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC every day.
Foreign affairs officials monitoring the track of Hurricane Florence. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, First at 6. Concern and prayers for Bahamians living in North Carolina and throughout the southeastern United States as Hurricane Florence is set to impact that area as early as tomorrow. The Category 3 storm, packing winds of 125 miles per hour and as wide as 300 miles, is expected to impact not just coastal communities, but areas far inland. In fact, according to some computer models, Hurricane Florence could take a southerly turn, possibly impacting South Carolina and Georgia. Bahamas Consul General in Atlanta, Georgia, Astra Ambrister-Roll, covers 10 states in the southeastern U.S., including the Carolinas. She informed us in a telephone interview today that her office is receiving reports from Bahamians in the path of Hurricane Florence.
Our entire office is on standby right now, fielding calls from both parents, students, and general Bahamians in both the Carolinas and here in Georgia. In general, students are saying that they are concerned. They are very afraid, as normally people would be during a crisis like this. But we're making sure that they know that we have contacted their universities, and the universities are following state and local orders for evacuation and also preparedness. Any emergency events, the universities are prepared. And so most of our international students will be hunkered down in the university, either in their student center or in the cafeteria area.
Crossing over now to news from the crime beat. Police confirming that an on-duty police officer was shot on Dolphin Drive while waiting to pick up his son from the H.O. Nash School earlier this afternoon. Assistant Police Commissioner responsible for crime, Clayton Fernandez, says the officer was sitting in his car when a man armed with a gun approached him. The officer was shot and the suspect drove off in the officer's car. ACP Fernandez says it appears to be an attempted armed robbery incident. After ACP Fernandez spoke to the media, officers were led to the Trelawney Close area, that's off Farrington Road, where the stolen blue Hyundai vehicle was discovered. ACP Fernandez says police are following leads to solve the matter. We'll have more details on this incident in the national report at 7. Also tonight, police seized $30,000 worth of cocaine at Lyndon Pinley International Airport yesterday. Drug Enforcement Unit officers, assisted by K-9 Unit and U.S. Border Control officers, acted on information and went to LPIA's departure lounge, where they searched a flight that was about to depart the island. All passengers were asked to disembark the plane while the check was made. Officers searched one of the departure lounge's male restrooms and recovered the 4.6 pounds of suspected cocaine worth $30,000. An American man was taken into custody in connection with this matter. Drug Enforcement Unit officers searched a home on Captain Road, that's in Coral Harbor, where they recovered 85 rounds of .45 ammunition, 100 rounds of .40 ammunition, and 100 rounds of 9mm ammunition. 5 adult men were arrested in connection with this seizure, and they're expected to be formally charged in the magistrate's court later this week. And police need your help to locate 56-year-old Leroy Gray of Greencastle, Eleuthera, who has been reported missing by family members. Take a look at his picture on your screen. Police say he was last seen walking in the settlement of Lower Bogue, Eleuthera. Gray is described by police as 5 feet 10 inches tall with a medium build and brown complexion. Anyone who knows where Leroy Gray is asked to contact the Rock Sound Police Station in Eleuthera. The telephone number there is 334-2244, or you can always contact your nearest police station. Well, in other news, First at 6, discussions over the heads of agreement for the proposed Oban deal with its principals is continuing in good faith. The deal, pegged at $5.5 billion, would see an oil refinery for the island of Grand Bahama. Chairman of the Oban Committee, Senator the Honorable Dion Folks, told reporters before the weekly cabinet meeting yesterday that the final copy of the technical report has not yet been received.
We are in talks in good faith with the principals of Oban, and we intend to remain in talks with them. If we can amend the heads of agreement to the satisfaction of the government, then that would be the best outcome. We are still awaiting the technical report from the Oban Technical Advisory Committee. It's taking a little longer than I had anticipated. I have received a draft. It's a fairly comprehensive document, but I've still not received the final document. I prefer to have an opportunity to present it to Cabinet for my colleagues to take a look at first and get Cabinet directions as to how to proceed.
Mr. Folk says the parties remain committed to the project moving forward. However, he did not wish to discuss funding concerns.
They have agreed to enter talks pursuant to the terms of the agreement, which makes provision for amendments to the heads of agreement. I prefer not to get into that at this point. Our main focus and my mandate as chairman of the Oban committee is to revise the heads of agreement to improve the environmental protection and to improve the economic benefits to the Bahamas.
Minister of Health, Dr. The Honorable Dwayne Sands, confirming that a number of upgrades have taken place at the Princess Margaret Hospital, something he says that will prove beneficial to patients. This news also comes against the backdrop that surgery schedules have now reconvened as maintenance to the operating theaters have been completed.
There have been complaints about a lack of availability of CAT scans and imaging, and that is because we are putting in brand new imaging equipment throughout the radiology department. There was a need to do the entire area at one time, as opposed to piece, 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 piece. And it has created a lot of inconvenience for the public and for the medical staff. But when this is done, certainly by October, we will have a brand new CAT scan. We will have brand new digital imaging equipment that will dramatically improve the quality of service and the technology to access information moving forward.
Now to news from the courts. A convict serving more than 4 decades for killing Rapeson Jules back in June 2013 is hoping the Court of Appeal will overturn his sentence. 22-year-old Christopher Butler was sentenced to 41 years behind bars for gunning down Jules, who was visiting a friend on Lazaretto Road back in 2015. The appellate court is expected to rule on the matter once submissions have been completed. Well, still ahead tonight, University of the Bahamas students honoring one of their own. That story and more when First at 6 continues.
My first memory of music would have been a performance when everyone was singing the song. The song was drop down and come up slow, and everyone in the crowd was singing. I was amazed. I was in shock.
I did not always want to be a performer, you know. I actually wanted to be a doctor. And when I was on my way to med school, I had this whole epiphany, and I went to Berkeley College of Music, and that's when I made the switch.
If I weren't singing, I'd be singing. I love track and field.
Many different things inspire me. You know, it isn't anything specific. It's just, you know, just enjoying the environment. And that's what I think music should be about, being free.
You know, tap of a button, I'm able to get in contact with persons all the way across the world. Technology acts as that bridge that keeps me connected.
BTC in one word, I would have to say clutch.
Connected family.
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 Every day. This is the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. This is Commonwealth Bank. And no matter how, no matter where, no matter what, Commonwealth Bank is here for you. Commonwealth Bank. Everything we do it for you.
When Reggie heard about the new KFC Value Bucket with yesterday's classics, he said, I'm going to groove an Afro hairstyle, get dressed up, get the car, grab my girl, and remember those good old days. And so he did. Here, got dressed, the car and his girl. Reggie realized that everything has changed except the irresistible taste of KFC. Enjoy a meal of the chicken you love for only $20. The new Value Bucket at KFC Nassau. It's finger-licking good.
portion of the news brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, your leader in personal banking.
Thanks so much for staying with us. Officials of the Pan-American Health Organization have implemented a mental health action plan for 2013 through 2020, hoping to achieve a 10% reduction in suicide rates in the region of the Americas. As a result, PAHO representative for the Bahamas, Dr. Esther de Gorville, disclosed at a suicide prevention seminar earlier this week that a number of actions have been taken, and they include
to increase accessibility of appropriate services for persons who are depressed or suicidal. Secondly, policies are being implemented to reduce harmful alcohol consumption because of the documented link between alcohol abuse and depression. Thirdly, we are raising awareness about suicide in communities to overcome stigmatization and improve suicide prevention efforts.
Dr. de Gorville also revealed that PAHO's plan of action on suicide calls gun control legislation, urban planning and monitoring, and to restrict access to dangerous places. She believes these actions can reduce the temptation for individuals to give in to impulsive and harmful behavior. Now, this comes as the World Health Organization estimates that globally more than 800,000 people commit suicide, which translates into one death every 40 seconds. Minister of Health, the Honorable Dwayne Sands, says first things first, we must all be aware of the signs, even though it may be difficult to interpret at times.
Some people facing suicidal crises may not appear obviously distressed. Others may show changes in behavior. Then there are others who openly talk about taking their own lives. But some of us just push it aside as drama or as attention-seeking behavior. It is usually a combination of factors that leads to suicide. It could be debt, living alone or loneliness, bereavement, bullying, a breakdown in the family structure from divorce or death. All of these things can play a part.
Students pursuing a career at the Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute will have access to free education as part of a $2.6 billion free tuition package from the government. However, they would still have to pay registration and graduation fees upon their completion of those studies. While this bodes well for the more than 2,400 students currently enrolled at 4 of BTVI's campuses nationwide, BTVI President Dr. Robert Robertson says there are some new initiatives on tap to attract even more students to the campus.
Initiatives are around some training that we're doing at the prison, for example, a correctional facility. We're working with the Department of Labor on an apprenticeship program, a specific apprenticeship program, and we're also working aggressively on some ICT programs, information and communication technology. We just had a graduation of high school students over the summer, and that went extremely well. The pass rate was very good, the participation in that was really good, and the job prospects for that type of program are almost 100%.
Dr. Robertson added that he's concerned about the increase in the dropout rate as a number of students enrolled in various programs at BTVI have been able to nab full-time employment.
It's one of the things about BTVI that people really don't understand. We have a high dropout rate, and the dropout rate is largely predicated, though, on the fact that people quit to go to work, which is what it's all about in the first instance. So what I try to tell students who do that, though, is you're being recruited for the knowledge you have. It's really important that you continue with your studies, and that's what we're trying to reinforce this year. We also want to look at the retention rate, though, and provide support for those students who need it, maybe additional math, additional reading, those types of skills. It is a little difficult for some students, and we want to be able to support them as best we can.
Well, students awarded a scholarship to attend BTVI received their scholarship letters yesterday. With assistance from the government, education at BTVI has become accessible as the institution made good on the government's pledge to offer free education to those who qualify. Well, still on education, students at the University of the Bahamas got a chance to bid a final farewell to 18-year-old Retanya Leary, who died last week after battling a rare disease that led to renal failure. Leary's mother and his pastor from Abaco came with the students as they paid respects and remembered the life of Retanya, who university officials and students described as playing an active role in campus life. Friends like Tyrone Pratt, who's president of the dance group Sauce It Up, remember Britannian as a young man full of life.
He was a trustworthy person, and because he came from Abaco, I came from San Salvador, so it's like we had an island bond. So when we message, we'll have our little island dialect and stuff like that. And he had a weird laugh. His laugh was very outrageous. But Daniel was a good person. Anytime he entered the room at practice, he always gave a positive aura. He made everyone laugh. He might get off on people, make fun of people, but we all know it was just jokes. During auditions, he was kind of shy. So what I did to break the ice, I went and, since I was the vice president, I went and kind of did the icebreaker. So I danced and tried to give everybody the energy. So when he came on, he started dancing the juju on the beat. He was a little stiff, but I know through practices we were to make him a better dancer. And when he performed at Showcase, from when he started at the auditions and when he performed, it was a totally different thing.
While some store owners in the over-the-hill community of New Providence are feeling the pinch since the increase in value-added tax, there are others who have decided not to go up on their prices. Our Kelsey Johnson visited a couple of those stores in that area.
They know the majority of their customers by name, so the business owners in the Baines and Grantstown constituency who live in the neighborhood sometimes offer credit to their customers every now and then. That's basically how the relationship is solidified between store owners and customers in the over-the-hill community.
Living in the inner city is a lot of people can't find that extra cent, so sometimes we let them slide or probably let it add up, and at the end of the day we got stuck with the bill.
Because of the long-time customers here, we don't want it to be so taxing on them. So we want them when they come in, the prices are low-cost prices, and so the people will continue to come back.
Has that been beneficial for you, and what are some of the things your customers are saying?
It has been beneficial because we haven't lost any customers, and when the customers come in, they're surprised to see that we don't charge VAT. And when they come to the register, they were like, VAT is already on this, and when we say we don't charge VAT, they're surprised, and so they're happy about that.
Since the introduction of value-added tax and the increase to 12% in July, store owners said they prefer to feel the pinch and give their customers who also have other bills to pay a little breathing room.
I think we're sometimes at a loss, but because of the location that we have and because of the long-time customers, we take that loss and just keep the store open for the customers.
So the overhead in terms of BEC, that doesn't affect you either?
No, we make it work.
In between, sometimes we have to push our hand in our pocket. Probably, like I said, the light bill going sky high, as you can see, all these coolers we got in here. So light bill double up this slab.
Candy Edmond, owner of T&K through McCullough Corner, said closing the store is not an option. Even though business is slow, she knows she has to remain competitive, especially with other stores so close by.
They ain't moving as fast as they used to move. So as a business person, me and my husband, we just come out there to do what we have to do, and thank God for the people that come in.
Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Network News.
Well, that is it for National News First at 6. Stay tuned. Sports is next with Jonathan Benson.
That portion of the news was brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, the leader in personal banking services.
No matter what your goals are in life, you have to start somewhere. It all begins with Leno. Leno, bridging possibilities. Call us at 396-3225 or email info@lenobahamas.com.
What if you looked in the mirror and saw something different? A small difference, a big difference. What if that difference changed your life forever? What if it caused you to question your beauty? Your body may change, a small change, a big change, but your life is defined by your interior, not your exterior. I felt, I called, I tested, I acted. I won. I am the cure. A living story of survival. Be the cure. Live the life you love and love the life you live. At 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center, your life matters.
Hey, I'm Megan Shepard, a reporter here at the ZNS Northern Service. Did you know that ZNS is right at your fingertips when you download the new ZNS app? Missed something in our newscast? That's okay. Simply pull up the app, swipe, and you'll find all of our news headlines and highlights. So what are you waiting for? Download the new ZNS app today.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. The New Providence Softball Association's best of 5 first-round playoffs back on the diamond last night with their backs against the wall in a must-win game. The Platinum Pool Sharks did what they had to do at the plate and on the base pads as they devoured the Johnson Truckers 11-4 in 6 innings to tie that series at 2 games all and force a winner-take-all Game 5. On the mound, Ramona Hanna had 6 strikeouts and picked up the win over Diva Burrows. At the plate for the Sharks, Sari Albury 3 for 4, 2 runs batted in, 2 runs scored. Denisha Woodside 1 for 4, 3 runs scored. Nishka Lotmore, she was also 1 for 4, 2 runs batted in and 3 runs scored, while Hanna held her own cause going 1 for 4 with an RBI.
We just had to keep a positive mind so that we'll be able to win the game, and we just had to hit and get our runs in. I think we'd have to stay positive and stay as a team in order to win.
We were really flat, you know, and we made a lot of defensive mistakes. We didn't hit the ball we needed to. We didn't get the key hits at the time we needed it, and you know, you can't go into the playoffs playing with that kind of intensity. You have to come with like you want to win the game, but we didn't come with that tonight. So we're gonna have to come Thursday and give it all we got, and hopefully we'll come out on top.
From the minor league baseball diamond last night, Jazz Rado Chisholm going 1 for 5 as Visalia lost Game 1 of the California League's Best of 5 championship. They fell 5-4 at home to Rancho Cucamonga. Game 2 is set for tonight. Bahamian head coach Lonnie Green was introduced as the new head track and field coach of the Kentucky Wildcats in July, and yesterday he added fellow Bahamian Debbie Ferguson-McKenzie to his staff as an assistant. Debbie joins the UK staff after spending the past 4 seasons at the University of Houston, where she helped build them into a national relevant contender. She made an impact immediately when she joined Houston staff before the 2014-2015 season, as 3 of our athletes would go on to the NCAA West Regionals. Back here at home, the Sun Blazers Track and Field Club already putting in the work ahead of the new season. They're at Goodman's Bay a couple times a week working in the sand and in the water. Head coach Marvin Darville spoke about some of his club's outstanding athletes.
Oscar Smith, he's a career athlete. He is also a part of the World Junior team this year. There's also India Cartwright. She was a silver medalist in the 400 hurdles at Carifta this year. There's Paige Stewart. She's an 11th grader now at QC, and she's one of the top girls in the under 17 division. Allison Taylor, she's in the under 20 girls, and she runs the distance event.
After failing to pull off a full season last year, the New Providence Women's Basketball Association has a new executive board in place, and the new season is set to tip off at the end of November. This year, the league will put more of an emphasis on the youth, and in doing so, President Devin Johnson says they're getting the assistance of some former players who are willing to give back.
Some of the players who have played before, some are coming back to bring a team and even bring a team in the league and coach also. So that's a good response for now. We're going to continue with the junior program that mine has started, which was a great success for. We're going to try and continue that. We're in the process now in trying to host a tournament for the October 25th, the midterm weekend. We're trying to host a tournament out for junior girls and senior girls. Hopefully we get our letters out by the end of this week so we can have these teams signed up and ready to go.
Walkers from around New Providence, Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Eleuthera are all set to take part in this year's CIBC First Caribbean Walk for the Cure Bahamas event on October 6th. Returning as a bronze sponsor is the Caribbean Bottling Company, which is set to hydrate athletes with the Sunny Water during the New Providence leg of the event, and that will commence 6:30 a.m. at the Goodmans Bay Corporate Center. And that is your first look at sports. Don't go anywhere. First at 6 is back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
You can count on me. Just call me and I'll come running. No matter the...
I got into comedy from the day I was born, and I look up and I saw who my parents was. I know my life is gonna be interesting.
The Bahamian people inspire me, like 100%.
I think the keys of the success to the band Visage has been the ability to stay relevant for the many years that the band has been around.
Technology, it keeps me connected.
What technology have done for me is priceless.
I don't know how I would be able to survive without it.
If I would describe BTC into one word, I would say innovative.
Family all around. Communications lifeblood of the Bahamas.
Every day.
In regional news, opposition St. Lucia Labour Party leader Philip J. Pierre announced this week that his party plans to table a motion of no confidence in the administration of Prime Minister Alan Chastanet in Parliament. He said for the motion to succeed, 9 MPs must support it, and Pierre said all 6 opposition parliamentarians will vote. St. Lucia's governing United Workers' Party calls plans by the SLP to table that no confidence vote as ludicrous and without merit. Haitian Prime Minister Jean-Henri Séant will deliver his new government's general policy statement to Parliament tomorrow after President Jovenel Moïse issued a decree allowing for the sitting of the extraordinary session of the legislative body. Haiti unveiled its new government last week, 2 months after Prime Minister Jacques Lafontaine resigned following days of violent protests against fuel price rises. And Jamaica's counterterrorism and organized crime investigation branch, known as CTOC, reportedly seized $10 million worth of counterfeit goods at a store in St. Andrews yesterday. According to the Jamaica Constabulary Force, an Indian national was taken into custody during the operation, which the JCF says is part of continued efforts to get rid of fake goods in the streets of Jamaica. Meanwhile, Marine police officers based in St. Elizabeth seized $8 million worth of ganja sometime after midnight. A special operation was carried out at a beach where several men were seen running from that area.
Time now for weather.
In our first look at weather, all of the tropical systems have weakened over the course of the last 24 hours. We start with Hurricane Helene in the far eastern Atlantic. Once was packing winds of 150 miles per hour down to 85 miles per hour, moving north-northwest at 14 miles per hour. And then we have newly formed Joyce, which formed this afternoon. It's a subtropical storm with winds of 45 miles per hour. That is moving towards the southwest at 6 miles per hour. And then we have Isaac, which is also weakened. It's now packing winds of 60 miles per hour as it approaches the Los Angeles, moving very quickly towards the west at 21 miles per hour. And then, of course, there's Florence, which was a dangerous Category 4 hurricane with 140 miles per hour winds. Well, those winds are now down to 120 miles as it takes aim for the Carolinas. And we have another area in the Gulf of Mexico, has about a 70% chance of developing over the next day or two. Outside of our studios, partly cloudy skies, temperature 86 degrees, relative humidity 65%. The winds out of the northeast at 7 miles per hour. Your barometric pressure 1,013.3 millibars. That's 29.93 inches, and it is rising. And that's going to do it for your first look at Weather 6. Stay tuned, more weather is still to come.
Thanks, Basil. That does it for First at 6. It's time now for a check on stories making news around the Northern Bahamas.
The government officially taking control of the Grand Lucayan property. Grand Bahamas call center reporting great success. And new developments in the Miss Grand Bahama controversy.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Shoshina Wolf-Arkeson. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news this evening, the Grand Lucayan Resort is now officially under new management as the government works to complete the acquisition process. Today, the new operations team visited the property for a series of meetings. Sabrina Brown has our top story.
Executives of Lucayan Renewal Holdings Limited, the government entity that is now managing the Grand Lucayan Resort, held closed meetings with union officials and staff in the convention center on Wednesday morning. Chairman of the Lucayan Renewal Holdings Limited, Michael Scott, says it was important to meet with staff since the government now has full control of the operations at the resort. However, he says the sale will not be finalized until later this month.
The final completion of the acquisition does not occur until the 21st of September, when after the government secures the affirmative resolution of the House to the guarantee, which is part of the transaction package with Hutchison.
Scott says the government no longer has plans to renovate the Memories Resort.
If we renovate any hotel property based on our engineering report, it's likely to be breakers.
Now the government says the focus is on saving the jobs of hundreds of workers, and Scott assured the staff that operations at the resort will continue as usual.
We will ensure that they are that fair treatment is accorded, that no one will be in any way prejudiced as a result of the transition, that it will be seamless, that those who want to retire from employment at the Grand Lucayan Resort Casino will be treated fairly, will have their separation or termination packages in accordance with the union entitlements, and that those who want to continue working will continue working as before.
ZNS News asks the chairman if the government is in talks with any potential buyers at this time.
There are, but I'm not going to disclose that because, as I said before, and I've been reported in the media as saying that those details are far too sensitive, and we are looking at investment proposals and screening them and considering their viability and suitability for this particular product.
The government purchased the Grand Lucayan Resort for $65 million and has made a down payment of $10 million. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Industry partners applauding the success of the country's first call center. Opened on Grand Bahama some 5 years ago, the center is experiencing tremendous growth. Today, the company is celebrating a name change, expansion, and relocation. Megan Shepard explains.
ITEL BPO, formerly Island Outsourcers, has relocated to the Sir Albert Miller building. The move comes after founder and executive chairman Yoni Epstein says that they've had so much success that they required more employees and a bigger location. Minister of State for Grand Bahama, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, congratulating the company for standing the test of time and exemplifying that a tech company can survive and grow here on the island.
They are a valued partner and really a valued stakeholder in Grand Bahama's economy. In fact, they have been a pioneer and, as Ian said, a leader in the technology industry here in Grand Bahama. Even before this government's stated vision to make Grand Bahama a technology hub, as Ian indicated, ITEL BPO opened their doors as Island Outsourcers in 2013. So they really were pioneers along with the Grand Bahama Port Authority.
Epstein notes that the company opened operations on the island in 2013 with only 65 employees and have now began a phased employment expansion plan. He says that the company looks forward to a continued partnership with the Port Authority and the government for a successful organization.
We started with some 65 people. I'm proud to say today we have about 130 people working here. We've embarked on a new campaign with a client out of the States, specifically Texas, and we've already hired the first 25 people. We have another 75 to go with that and other campaigns that we're launching. And by the end of this year, we should have very close to 200 people working for us here in Grand Bahama.
President of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, Ian Roll, noting that this island launched the nation's first standalone call center in the form of island outsourcers. He adds that the expansion is a testament to partnerships and intentional actions to achieve common goals for the benefit of all.
Today's success comes as a result of the intentional and deliberate actions of all parties, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, ITEL BPO, and the government of the Bahamas. Together, our efforts sought out, attracted, and established a new economic sector for Grand Bahama, ripe with growth potential and future prospects.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Miss Grand Bahama organization to hold a meeting to discuss the ongoing controversy involving their new queen. The 17-year-old offending Bahamians in a post on social media while paying homage to the Haitian community. Calling the comment insulting, residents are expressing outrage tonight.
Social media exploding with harsh comments Tuesday evening after a comment by the new Miss Grand Bahama, Evna Gibson, went viral. The Instagram post offended thousands of Bahamians, as many thought the 17-year-old's caption on her photo was demeaning to Bahamian women and showed no national pride, as Gibson claimed she was too gorgeous to be a Bahamian, but instead she is a Haitian. Our ZNS News team spoke with residents who were shocked by the post.
I was shocked. Because as a Bahamian, I don't think that's something she should have said. That's bad. That's bad. She's supposed to be lifting our country up.
Wow. What a statement. I guess she wasn't actually really thinking of what she was saying. She was just acting out because then she already has the crown and she figures she has arrived.
This resident says she is a Haitian Bahamian and does not condone the post.
I was born here from foreign parents too. That's a war she start. Because that's something we could continuous, because she put it on radio. It could continue. You could hear that all the time. So I don't think she should have do it.
This resident says that the issue is not about nationality, but rather respect.
Even if she have Haitian parents, she was born or probably raised there. So I feel like she have a responsibility to the Bahamian public and to the Bahamian people to represent us as a whole. It doesn't matter if she is Haitian or Bahamian. We still want people because they here too.
Now, many on social media called for the immediate resignation of Gibson or called the organization to take away the crown. These residents agree.
Let's look at the other pageants. When there's a fault by the queen, well, the crown goes to the first runner-up. So who's the first runner-up in this pageant?
She was actually not the winner. The winner resigned, and then she was given the title by default.
Oh, she got a default title. Well, no wonder. See, that was default, because she is default like that is default. I think that statement has an apology, and she should be removed from her spot.
I think it's offensive, and I don't think anybody, I don't care which nationality, should be able to come here and say what she said and not be reprimanded in any way. There should be some consequences, and when I say some consequences, don't just, you point a finger at her and lash her a little bit with your tongue. No, tell her she needs to go.
Since the post went viral, Evna Gibson has since deleted the post and issued an apology via Facebook. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
In the meantime, the Miss Grand Bahama Beauty Pageant organization issuing a statement this afternoon confirming that Miss Grand Bahama Evina Gibson has relinquished the crown. The statement issued by advisor April Crowther-Gow noting that it is important to uphold the integrity of the organization that has been in existence for the past 30 years. The statement goes on to say that the Bahamas has become a diverse country and that in order to be a part of the Miss Grand Bahama pageant, one must be a Bahamian citizen who is proud of this country that has become a melting pot of cultures. Our queens, according to the statement, are some of the most distinguished ambassadors of the country who have put country pride and community first. The Miss Grand Bahama organization is calling it a very unfortunate situation that they hope will never be repeated. Miss Grand Bahama organization is thanking the Grand Bahama community and the Bahamas at large for their continued support. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Stay with us. There's more news right after this break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Dolly Madison, Freeport's original home center.
Musicians, churches, nightclubs, Radio Shack is now stocked with heavy-duty power amps, powered speakers, subwoofers, cordless and wired microphones, lavaliers, guitar strings, drumsticks, skins, and accessories, guitar and bass amps, DI boxes, crossovers, line conditioners, percussion instruments, clarinet and saxophone reeds, PA systems, mixers, routers, hard drives, sound cards, tablets, MacBook Pro power cords and adapters, and so much more at the new Radio Shack at Dolly Madison Home Center.
Come on down.
From the Bahamas, some sand and sea, lots of activities, but for you and me. If you don't believe me, then come follow me. Come right down to this place and we call it KFC. KFC the Big Cheese. We got the Big Cheese. KFC the Big Cheese. We got the Big Cheese. No one can beat us at anything we do. No way. Sports, art, soccer, jamming, sleeping, junk, and news. We got the best beaches, even the
a Big Chief deal today and receive 2 Big Chief collectible cups at all KFC restaurants in Freeport.
Stay informed on your local weather forecast this 2018 hurricane season. Your #1 news station, the ZNS Television Network. We've got you covered. Covering the Northern Bahamas, you're watching The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. As we are now in the peak of the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season, a facility that cares for the island's precious pearls is making an urgent appeal. Sabrina Brown reports.
The Grand Bahama Home for the Aged has been caring for the elderly for almost 3 decades. And while founder Agatha Thompson says she is grateful to the community for their continued support, she says they are once again in need of financial assistance, as repairs to the facility have not been fully completed since the passing of Hurricane Matthew in 2016.
So we have weathered every storm for leading up to 30 years in the building. We never had to go to a hurricane shelter or send the residents home. But the last hurricane, Hurricane Matthew, really did a beating, give us a beating, and the building suffered a lot of damages. However, we had insurance, which paid a portion of it. And so we still are in the middle of another hurricane season, and our roof still need to be repaired.
Thompson says most of the damage was done to the rear of the building, and it will cost around $12,000 to complete those repairs.
The Rotary Club in 204 donated the metal roof, and that have kept us safe through all the hurricanes leading up to Matthew. Matthew took off the entire rear of the building, our laundry room, our sitting area, and a half of the metal roof. Now, if you're passing and looking at the building, it looks like it's in perfect condition. We repaired the roof, but the metal needs to be put on because it adjoins to the metal that was left there. So we're asking for assistance with having that made safe and secured so we can weather many other storms in that building.
The seniors' home currently houses some 20 full-time residents, but Thompson says the home has been a safe haven to many others, particularly during the hurricane season.
We also have persons that come to the home after a hurricane, and their places have been damaged. As a matter of fact, we still have a few that came in from West End and the outlying settlements that their homes were damaged, and they're still with us. A few were able to go back to their homes, but a few are still there with us.
Thompson says the home is also in need of shutters and a generator. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
In partnership with Ocean Conservancy, the Ministry of Tourism is asking citizens to suit up to clean up for the 33rd International Coastal Cleanup this Saturday, September 15th. Last year, Grand Bahama volunteers collected nearly 4,200 pounds of trash from local beaches, and the cleanup committee is hoping for even more volunteers to step in this year.
Since the Ministry of Tourism has been coordinating this event, and every year we focus on using the schools to assist us in collecting much needed data, which will be gathered at the end of this project and sent to Washington, D.C., where it will be used to determine some very key factors. One is the level of pollution on the shoreline, namely plastic, styrofoam and the like. We have about 15 coordinators from a cross-section of the island. Two of those coordinators are present with us this morning, and they are going to be responsible for taking those data and bring them into our office so we can compile that information and send them back to Washington, D.C.
Well, the Bahamas National Trust is a key player in the exercise this year.
You're not a part of the tourism product doesn't mean that you're not a part of sustainability. All of us have a viable option in how this island operates, because any job loss is a job loss for all of us.
The good things about this initiative is that the items that are collected are actually recorded so that we know whether they're plastics or whatever type of material they are, and hopefully that will allow us to be able to target where these items are coming from so that we can make some change to why this is happening.
The annual Us 2 Health Clinic held over the weekend at the Paris Plaza. Hundreds of men from the community attending the clinic to take advantage of the screenings. On island for the occasion were a number of doctors to assist and ensure a smooth process. This year, Dr. Camille Reagan, Associate Professor at the Cancer Prevention and Control Program out of Philadelphia, says that this year they were also conducting special research.
We're working as a team to try to address prostate cancer in the Bahamas, trying to understand what genetic factors might be related to the development of the disease. So we're actually collecting saliva samples from the men, both men with prostate cancer and also men without prostate cancer. And we're going to be doing some testing to try to see if we can analyze and come up with some answers.
Dr. Reagan leads a research consortium in the Caribbean called the African Caribbean Cancer Consortium. She says in this region, prostate cancer remains a top killer.
In the Caribbean, prostate cancer is one of the leading causes of death for men in our region. So it's a very, very serious problem. So having these men come out to screen is very important. And then also being able to participate in these research studies is also just as important, so that we can really try to find some answers to address, prevention.
And finally, in news this evening, it is an ailment that appears to be quite prevalent among men in the Bahamas. Tonight, a local doctor talks about the warning signs and how it can be treated. Italia Hall reports.
Gout is an inflammatory condition due to elevated uric acid levels in the blood, which causes inflammation in the joints. Dr. Marcus Bethel says most often it is the big toe that becomes inflamed.
The joint in the big toe gets swollen, red, and hot. And it happens rather suddenly, usually overnight. It suddenly comes on. And that swelling and inflammation is due to uric acid crystals. In other words, the acid in the blood precipitates microscopic crystals into the joint that gets inflamed.
He says gout can be caused by several factors.
One, there may be an inheritance factor. In other words, it may run in families. But also there are environmental factors, such as eating lots of meat, alcohol, these are some of the common precipitating or factors that help to elevate the acid and cause precipitation of crystals into the joints. The joint, as I say, it can be any joint in the body. Usually it's the big toe, but it can be the ankles, the knees, the hip, the elbows, the fingers.
But there are some measures that one can take.
So you must stay hydrated. You should lose weight. We ask you to reduce the intake of red meat, meats generally, but particularly red meat, and of course alcohol consumption, particularly beers. They have a precipitating effect for crystals into the joints. In addition to that, individuals can be affected by damage to the kidneys because kidney stones can form. In other words, the same crystals that precipitate in the joint can develop in the kidneys and damage the kidneys or cause kidney stones.
If persons feel the related symptoms, a doctor can check the level of uric acid in the blood and prescribe medication that can control the uric acid level in the blood, pain, and swelling. The doctor says gout usually affects men more than women in their 40s and 50s.
Adjustments in the diet are what's important, and understanding that you can help yourself by making some lifestyle adjustments. This is a lifestyle disease largely, except in those cases where it's an inherited disease.
It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
And that's a look at stories making news this evening. Now it is time to Ask the Doctor.
Dr. Monique Pratt, welcome. Continuing our discussion on medical emergencies, many people don't feel confident that they know when someone around them is having a medical emergency. There are several basics that we can use to identify if there's a true medical emergency, and the patient should be transported to an emergency room as soon as possible. Usually this means calling 919 if someone is having bleeding that won't stop, breathing problems such as shortness of breath, change in mental status such as unusual behavior, confusion, difficulty staying awake or consciousness, chest pain, choking, coughing up or vomiting blood, fainting or loss of consciousness, feelings of committing suicide or murder, head or spine injury, sudden injury due to a motor vehicle accident, burns or smoke inhalation, near drowning, deep or large wound, sudden severe pain anywhere in the body, sudden dizziness, weakness or change in vision, swallowing a poisonous substance, or upper abdominal pain or pressure. If you are present when someone experiences any of these conditions, this is a medical emergency, and emergency medical treatment is needed right away. I'm Dr. Monique Pratt, and this has been Ask the Doctor.
Don't go away. A check on sports is up next with Ramiko Knowles.
Warm Makeup by Megan Coakley. When you want to look like a star. Phone 443-7979.
This month alone, I reduced my power bill by over $300 by purchasing a solar system from Northern Bahamas Utility Company. My power bill is now $16. Can you believe it?
Here's another reason why owning a solar system from Northern Bahamas Utilities is right for you. Stop by today at number 8 Oak Street or call us at 225-0766 extension 106 and ask about our in-house financing or lease-to-own option. See you today.
Welcome to Sports 360 with Jay Fleet. We have live in studio today.
It goes down to discipline, taking care of your body, knowing what you need to put into your body.
I've got the national records in the 200, 400, 800 free. We've just got eyes on Tokyo 2020.
Hi, I'm Jay Philippe, and you can tune in every Monday at 12:30 p.m. talking sports.
104.5 FM.
Good
evening, all. Welcome to another exciting edition of sports. I'm Ramiko Knowles. First up in sports, the Rising Stars Softball and Development League officially opening over the weekend at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. Youngsters turning out for a day of fun and fundamentals. Our Megan Shepard was at the Plex.
The Grand Bahama Sports Complex is the place to be every Saturday if you're interested in learning the sport of softball or baseball. The tiny tots ages 3 to 6, practicing their grip and getting a hang of coordination. Coach Alvon Hall says that at this stage, it's all about having the fundamentals and having fun.
We want to teach them, how to grip the ball, how to just feel the ball, step and throw, just simple things that they can remember, because at this stage, repetition is key. So once they do this stuff over and over and over again, they'll be able to remember it, and then it'll come easily for them in the game.
Coach Oscar Green offering guidance to those under the age of 18. He says that the day started off a bit slow due to the rainy weather, but he is encouraging the children of the community to get involved.
We got a bunch of kids returning from last year's season, and we got a couple of new kids coming out. So looking forward to a good season, good productive season this year.
This is 9-year-old Janico Gibson's first time participating in the league, but he is already planning to earn himself a few medals. 10-year-old Sanaa Roberts is returning to the league and having a blast.
It's very fun to play baseball, and baseball is my best hobby. It's like when you outfield and you catch foul for them, become an MVP, and then you get medals and stuff.
I'm returning here, and I like this sport. It's my favorite sport, and lots of children come in and I get to meet new people.
What is your favorite part of the game?
Like when we batting and hitting and stuff like that.
Now, Coach Green says that the ultimate goal is to expose the children to as much opportunities as possible.
We did a lot of trips last year. We went to Providence, we went to Eleuthera, we went to Puerto Rico. So that's really the goal, to get the kids off, get them exposed, look for future different scholarships and stuff like that.
The Rising Stars League runs from 10 a.m. to 12 noon every Saturday. Megan Shepard, ZNS Total Sports.
Game 2 of the Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association playoffs continuing on the weekend with Pat's Uniform Reds leading the series 1-0 against GBPA Regulators. This one was over from the beginning. Let's go to home plate. Starting things off for the Regulators, this young lady with a fly ball to the right side, 2 runs scored. Continuing the rally for the Regulators, veteran player Larry Russell stepping to the plate now. Give me all of you. This one is driven deep to the left for a home run. Fast forward next inning, little brother Desmond Ruddle steps to the plate now. He says this one is all mine. It's driven deep over left. Pat's Uniform Reds destroy GBPA Regulators 19-5. The winning pitcher Michael Sweeting says it was a good night for the Regulators.
It was a good game tonight. They put up a good fight, but we was able to come out on top.
Gwendolyn Pinder and Stefano Bevan says it was simply just not happening for them.
Tonight, I think we had an off night. Our bats didn't come around as we did in the first game.
I think we had a lot of mental errors on the field. We didn't execute on defense as well as we supposed to. Now we down 2-0 in the series, but big teams find a way to bounce back.
On Sunday now, the co-ed games, Cooper's Destroyers defeated Immigration Enforcers 15-14. The winning pitcher Leon Cooper Sr., the losing pitcher Jermaine Scavella. The series is now tied 2-2. In the man, Tenerife Lutherans defeated Express 39-29. The winning pitcher Leon Cooper, the losing pitcher Keo Pinder. Tenerife Lutherans won the series 3-1 and advanced to play Pat's Uniform Reds for the championships. Game 5 of the co-ed games continue tonight with the Immigration Enforcers taking on Cooper's Destroyers. And that's what's making sports. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Until next time, make it a great one.
I'm Hugh Ferguson from Budget Pest Control. After 30 years in this industry, testing hundreds of pest control products, none has impressed me more than Vape. Vape 90-Day Mosquito Destroyer, Vape Aerosol, and Vape Mosquito Port. Vape is the only spray that you will find in my house and my mother's house, and it should be the only one in yours. In pest control, there are only 2 names to remember: Vape and Budget Pest Control.
Business owners are excited about ZNS Northern Service Storm Central Hurricane packages because advertising rates are discounted up to 50%. That's right, get 50% off advertising packages this hurricane season from now through November 30th. Call our sales department at 351-3430 or 352-9713 and book your advertising package today.
And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of our entire ZNS News team, I'm Shoshana Wolf-Arkeson. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hurricane landfall. Foreign affairs officials in Atlanta monitoring the track of Hurricane Florence. Hospital upgrades. More transformation at the Princess Margaret Hospital, according to the health minister. The Bahamas Tonight, the national report starts right now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC every day.
The Royal Bahamas Police Force confirming that an on-duty police officer has died. Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Altaviz Munnings. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. Thanks for making us a part of your Wednesday. We begin our news tonight from the crime beat as a police officer died today after he was shot in front of his daughter in an apparent armed robbery. DeAndre Williamson leads us off tonight with this report from the crime scene on Dolphin Drive. An on-duty police officer was shot on Dolphin Drive while waiting to pick up his son from H.O. Nash Junior High School shortly after 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Assistant Police Commissioner responsible for crime, Clayton Fernandez, says the officer was sitting in his vehicle with his daughter when the incident happened.
While he was seated in the vehicle, he was approached by a lone gunman who pointed the gun at him and ordered him out of the vehicle. Eventually, the culprit fired a shot. He was hit to the body. The gunman pulled him out of the car, got into the car. At this time, his daughter had already exited the car and ran for assistance. The culprit drove off in the officer vehicle.
ACP Fernando confirmed that the officer is an inspector and it appears to be an attempted armed robbery. After Fernandez spoke to the media, officers were led to Trelawney Close off Farrington Road, where the stolen blue Hyundai Elantra was found. Police are asking members of the public who witnessed the incident to help in locating the person they believe to be responsible.
All we could say is a dark individual appeared to be very young and slim-built, about between 5 feet, 5'6", somewhere around that area. He was wearing dark clothing at the time. So as the information comes in, as we speak to persons, and we will start with his daughter to see what info that she could share, that we could quickly get it out to members of the public to assist.
Fernanda has this message for the person responsible for this latest shooting.
I want to say, and I'm going to look him right in his eyes, that turn yourself in. Go to a pastor, go to some family members, and turn yourself in with your weapon, or we will find you.
Police confirmed that the officer died Wednesday evening. Meanwhile, Fernandez says police are following leads to solve this matter. Investigations are ongoing. For ZNS Network News, I'm DeAndre Williamson. Now to news from the courts. 37-year-old Dino Pinto arraigned in the magistrate's court today for allegedly killing Jeremy Pettifer this past Saturday. Pettifer was fatally stabbed while at a bar on the Tony Williams-Darling Highway. Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt did not call on Pinto to enter a plea. Bail was denied, and he has been remanded to the Department of Corrections. Pinto is expected to return to court on October 25th for service of voluntary bill of indictment papers. Also, a convict serving more than 4 decades for killing Rapeson Jules in 2013 is hoping the Court of Appeal will overturn his hefty sentence. 22-year-old Christopher Butler was sentenced to 41 years behind bars for gunning down Jules, who was visiting a friend on Lazaretto Road. The appellate court is expected to rule on the matter once submissions have been completed. Now to news on the weather. Weather experts continue to monitor 4 systems in the tropics: Florence, Isaac, Helene, and Joyce, which just formed earlier this afternoon. Meteorologists say Florence will hit the Carolinas by tomorrow, and Isaac is already making an impact on the Caribbean. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us in studio tonight with the latest coordinates. Basil, I know you had reported earlier that some of these storms weakened a bit.
All of them are weakened overnight. The course of the day, as you would recall, if we would start with Isaac. Isaac yesterday was at 70 miles per hour. It's now down to 60 miles per hour, moving very rapidly toward the west at 20 miles per hour, and that will be impacting the middle portion of the Lesser Antilles later on tomorrow night. And the good news is at least they will not expect to experience those stronger hurricane force winds as it was carrying yesterday. But certainly it's now a very strong tropical storm that's moving towards the west. And then Florence was 140 miles per hour up to last evening. It has fallen off significantly. It's now packing winds of 120 miles per hour, but that still remains a major hurricane as it takes aim now for the Carolina, which should make landfall sometime around Friday morning, but they will begin to feel the effects in the Carolina as early as tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, as this system now moves towards the northwest at about 16 miles per hour.
Basil, I'm reading the latest item from the Department of Meteorology as well as the 6 o'clock weather forecast, and meteorologists are encouraging small craft boaters to remain in port due to large swells, dangerous surf, and rip currents. That's from Hurricane Florence. What impact does that entail?
Well, we anticipated some larger swells earlier today. That did not materialize, and that's because Florence decreased in intensity quite rapidly to 120. Hence, the swells have been downgraded to light to moderate, and that will continue right through tomorrow and perhaps even into Friday. So we're still asking boaters traversing the waters of the Bahamas to exercise extreme caution because of these moderate swells. And also for beachgoers, you want to exercise caution because there is the good potential of some rip current, which is invisible to the naked eyes, and so we don't want anyone to get carried away by those currents. So until conditions subside, we're asking beachgoers to remain out of the waters and boaters to exercise extreme caution.
I know, I think it's Tropical Storm Isaac now is going to be impacting parts of the Caribbean, but will that impact us here in the Bahamas?
Not at the moment, but when we look at the forward projection of this computer model, it's indicating that by Sunday thereabout, it may start to take a turn towards the north and northwest. And should that happen, it will be moving in our general direction. The good news is it will have to get over Cuba before it can impact us, and is right now a very weak tropical storm, and the mountainous terrain of Cuba hopefully will weaken it even further if it does take that turn towards the northwest.
Also, Basil, I know Joyce formed earlier today, somewhere up by Bermuda, but tell us, even though we're in the peak of the hurricane season, what can we expect here in the Bahamas within the next week or two?
Joyce, not a problem to the Bahamas at all. It's to the southwest of the Azores Islands, and it is moving toward the southwest at about 6 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds about 45 miles per hour. We expect it to turn back towards the north and eventually the northeast, meaning it will remain over the open waters of the Atlantic.
Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean giving us the latest updates on the activity in the tropics. Thanks so much, Basil. He'll join us later in our Family Island weather segment. Well, still talking weather, Bahamas Consul General in Atlanta, Astra Bristol, and her team are watching Hurricane Florence. And she told us in a telephone interview today that she's been in contact with Bahamian students in the area that will be impacted by the hurricane. She has been assured that the universities have a proper plan in place to ensure the safety of Bahamian students who remain on campus.
To track the movements of Hurricane Florence, which is now a strong Category 3 hurricane. We are not taking this storm lightly. The state of Georgia has now declared a state of emergency, and we're reminding our Bahamian diaspora to adhere to local and state evacuation orders. We want everyone to find safe shelter. At the consulate, we've established a 24-hour line. You can reach us at any time at 404-474-2104. Again, the number to reach the consulate is 404-474-2104. Our students, and particularly the members of the diaspora, should continue to register with the consulate via Facebook, Instagram, or the Ba Conga website. We urge you to keep in contact with us before, during, and after the storm, as we believe this will greatly assist us in our post-storm assessments.
We also spoke to Bahamian student Kimberly Mullings, a former colleague of ours who attends North Carolina Central University, and she says officials there are on guard.
Yesterday, NCCU moved to Condition 1 status, meaning that at 5 p.m., all services would be suspended. Yesterday, the school also made the decision to suspend all classes for the remainder of the week. Today, school moved to Condition 2 status. Condition 2 means that basically only the dining halls on campus are open, and that serves to serve the students who actually live on campus, of course, their meals, and to allow them to get a couple things from the shop which is on campus that they could use to ride out the storm in their dorms. With that being said, of course, we are hoping that we don't move into Condition Status 3. Condition Status 3 would mean that the school would have suffered major damage and we might not be able to open on Monday as expected.
Still ahead tonight, health professionals learning more about medical marijuana. And coming up in sports, the best of 5 in NPSA action last night. We're just getting started here on the National Report. We hope to see you on the next side of the break.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Shell, fueling journeys that matter. Summer promotion.
Deciding on which car to buy? Hard. Getting an auto loan? Easy. Negotiating the price? Hard. Getting the money to pay for it? Easy. Get an easy auto loan from Commonwealth Bank. Super low rates, fast 24-hour approval, no loan fee, and no payments for 2 months. So come to Commonwealth Bank, and your next car is easy. Call today.
You can't count on me. Just call me and I'll come.
My first memory of music would have been a performance when everyone was singing the song. The song was drop down and come up slow, and everyone in the crowd was singing. I was amazed. I was in shock.
I did not always want to be a performer, you know. I actually wanted to be a doctor, and when I was on my way to med school, I had this whole epiphany, and I went to Berklee College of Music, and that's when I made the switch.
If I weren't singing, I'd be singing. I love track and field.
Many different things inspire me. You know, it isn't anything specific. It's just, you know, just enjoying the environment. And that's what I think music should be about, being free.
You know, tap of a button, I'm able to get in contact with persons all the way across the world. Technology acts as that bridge that keeps me connected.
BTC in one word, I would have to say clutch.
Connected with family.
Family.
Every day, every day.
When Reggie heard about the new KFC Value Bucket with yesterday's classics, he said, I'm going to groove an Afro hairstyle, get dressed up, get the car, grab my girl, and remember those good old days. And so he did. Here, got dressed, the car, and his girl. Reggie realized that everything has changed except the irresistible taste of KFC. Enjoy a meal of the chicken you love for only $20. The new Value Bucket at KFC Nassau. It's finger-licking good.
Sean, what you doing home already? And why you can't do anything I ask you?
Calm down. Everything cool?
Everything always cool, but you running me hard.
I already do everything on the list.
You pay the light bill and phone bill?
Check.
You get the Bahamas Air ticket for me and check the Sky Bahamas tickets for mommy?
Check.
I know you ain't send that moneygram to Junior.
I already do that too.
You sicky. You ain't never do everything I ask you.
I go on the Cash and Go and do everything right there.
You pick up dinner too?
Cash and Go don't sell chicken yet. Cash and Go, your one-stop shop for bill paying and so many other things. this? This true? Pop the Top is back?
Yes, sir, and bigger and better than ever.
Collect. The Bear of the Bahamas is giving you the chance to win $30,000 and tons of free bear with the 30th anniversary Pop the Top promotion. Here's how you can win free bear or the $30,000 grand prize. Just buy, collect, Pop the Top, and check your caps to see if you've won. Select bars, liquor stores, and all 700 wines and spirits stores are Pop the Top redemption centers where you can present your caps and get your free collect bear instantly. To win the $30,000 grand prize, collect 6. Enter to win $30,000 caps. Place your caps in a Pop the Top envelope and complete the information requested. Then submit your entry in any Pop the Top Dropbox, block party, or the Pop the Top bus for your chance to win $30,000. Let's celebrate Bahamian and 30 years of the Bear of the Bahamas. Collect Pop the Top 30th anniversary. Celebrate responsibly.
This portion of the news brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
We want to start this segment by thanking all of you watching us live on our social media platforms, especially our Facebook followers, Trevor Bethel, Marjorie Pickstock, and Betty Romer, who are offering condolences to the officer who was died today, to his family and the Royal Bahamas Police Force. We want to encourage you to keep your comments coming. Well, a number of upgrades taking place at the Princess Margaret Hospital as government improves the delivery of health care nationwide. This comes as surgery schedules at the Princess Margaret Hospital have reconvened following maintenance to the air conditioning system in the operating room. Speaking to the upgrades, Health Minister Dr. the Honorable Dwayne Sands says this is a major step forward for health care.
There have been complaints about a lack of availability of CAT scans and imaging, and that is because we are putting in brand new imaging equipment throughout the radiology department. There was a need to do the entire area at one time, as opposed to piece, 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 piece. And it has created a lot of inconvenience for the public and for the medical staff. But when this is done, certainly by October, we will have a brand new CAT scan. We will have brand new digital imaging equipment that will dramatically improve the quality of service and the technology to access information moving forward.
This week, emphasis has been placed on suicide prevention, as global reports indicate that more than 800,000 people die from suicide annually. That translates into one death every 40 seconds. In light of this, the Pan American Health Organization implemented a mental health action plan from 2013 to 2020, hoping to achieve a 10% reduction of suicide rates in the region of the Americas. We heard this week from PAHO representative for the Bahamas, Dr. Esther de Gorville, on those action plans.
To increase accessibility of appropriate services for persons who are depressed or suicidal. Secondly, policies are being implemented to reduce harmful alcohol consumption because of the documented link between alcohol abuse and depression. Thirdly, we are raising awareness about suicide in communities to overcome stigmatization and improve suicide prevention efforts.
The Medical Association of the Bahamas is hosting a medical marijuana seminar for health professionals. This evening's seminar will discuss the benefits and effects of medicinal marijuana if the drug is legalized in this country. President of the association, Dr. Marcus Cooper, recently told ZNS News that he doesn't feel the drug needs to be marketed, but prescribed by a doctor and handled by a qualified pharmacist. Dr. Cooper says it's something that may be a long time coming, but should be explored.
So it should be at a dispensary or a pharmacy and issued by a pharmacist. Physicians need to know the appropriate indications and the appropriate dosing, and also be able to discuss the potential side effects and risks associated with using the drug. So I don't think we'll need to market it. I think the physicians, once they see that there is an indication for the medication, will recommend or prescribe it for their patients.
In an effort to address the lack of sufficient skilled Bahamian workers to meet the country's demands, the Ministry of Labor is partnering with the private sector, educational institutions, labor unions, and civil society in a national symposium on skills development. Minister of Labor, Senator the Honorable Dion Fowkes, spoke about the significance of this joint initiative.
There's no sense having a very active business community. There's no sense having a lot of business investments if Bahamians are not qualified to take advantage of the jobs. And that is what this is all about. We want to make sure that the curricula in our institutions and our educational institutions at the technical level, at the tertiary level, and at the high school level, that they're relevant to the demands of the current job market. And that is what this symposium is all about, to do an analysis of that and to make recommendations through me to the cabinet as to what we should do as a country going forward.
Bahamas Technical and Vocational Institute officials expressing concern about the dropout rate at that institution. President Dr. Robert Robertson says students have now access to free education as part of the $2.6 million free tuition package from the government, and he's hoping that the dropout rate will decrease. He explained why a number of those students don't complete their studies.
It's one of the things about BTVI that people really don't understand. We have a high dropout rate, and the dropout rate is largely predicated, though, on the fact that people quit to go to work, which is what it's all about in the first instance. So what I try to tell students who do that, though, is you're being recruited for the knowledge you have. It's really important that you continue with your studies, and that's what we're trying to reinforce this year. We also want to look at the retention rate, though, and provide support for those students who need it, maybe additional math, additional reading, those types of skills. It is a little difficult for some students, and we want to be able to support them as best we can.
This portion of the news was brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
This is your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Cleopatra Murphy. Executives from the Caribbean Development Bank paid a courtesy call on Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis and Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance the Honorable Peter Turnquest at the Office of the Prime Minister. The Caribbean Development Bank helps to facilitate business activity and expansion in the region, among other functions. Members of the business community and other stakeholders expected to participate in the anticipated Abaco Business Outlook, scheduled to open September 20th at the Abaco Beach Resort. The initiative aims to connect local and external industry experts with stakeholders in conducive space, where participating parties can discuss issues plaguing the island. Participants will also identify opportunities for economic growth. Other topics on the agenda include the island's economic challenges, which currently include a decrease in airlift and high unemployment numbers. In international business news, Apple unveiled its largest smartphone ever today, the 6.5-inch iPhone XS Max. The Max has a larger display than the usual plus-size phones, but a similar body. Apple also showcased two other smartphones, the 5.8-inch iPhone XS and the lower-end, lower-priced iPhone XR. The company says the phones have faster networking support, among other features. This has been your Royal Fidelity Business News. I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
We are 700 Wines and Spirits. From Grand Bahama to San Salvador.
Just around the corner when you need us.
For every celebration and relaxation.
Committed to quality and service since 1953.
With renowned wines.
Rums and spirits.
We are 700 Wines and Spirits. Always with ice cold beer.
And attractive promotions.
Here for you as we've always been. One name, one people, united in wines and spirits.
We are 700 Wines and Spirits. You see me? I love online shopping. And when I heard of Welty.com, I said, wow, what do they have to offer?
Welty.com provides me with everything I need. Like hair, perfumes, furniture for my mom, anything I can think of.
Visit Welty.com today for all your favorite products, like hair, clothes, fragrances, and furniture. You can see the overall cost, layaway, and pay the remaining balance later.
Huh? Welty.com? Duh.
Welty.com. Make life easy.
Whether it's for school lunch packs or football parties, Super Value and Quality Supermarkets has the specials you need this September, including Kellogg's Corn Flakes 24-ounce box, $3.99. Boneless chicken breast, $2.29 per pound. First Choice Sugar, 4-pound bag, $2.39. Hunt's Ketchup, 35-ounce bottle, $1.99. Cello Carrots, 5-pound size, $2.99. Pick Sweet Corn on the Cob, 8-count, or mixed vegetables, 16-ounce bag, $2.99. No matter the occasion, Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
We've all got plans for our golden years. Unfortunately for many, this may just be wishful thinking. To generate an annual income in retirement of $70,000 for 20 years at a rate of return of 5%, with inflation running at 3%, requires more than $1.1 million. So how do you save that much money? Many companies provide a group pension plan to help their employees by deducting an amount each month from their pay to contribute to the plan. Personal Pension Plan, or PPP, is similar to a group plan, but offered only to individuals. These plans offer many of the same benefits and features. Contact us for more information on pensions.
Move forward, Bahamas, and build high into the sky. Move upward and colorize those new walls. Move onward and build a garden to last a lifetime. Move together and settle into that new home. There's a lot of places you can do it for yourself, but there's one place to do it right. Builders Mall. We know exactly what motto you live by, and even the pros know building is just a part of what we do. So move forward, Bahamas. And remember, you can find it all at Builders Mall.
Free, reliable, anytime, anywhere, and instant. That's the benefits of using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Pay bills, check account balances, transfer funds, and more. Enjoy the freedom of banking on your own terms. Why wait in line? Save time. Do your banking using RBC's digital banking, ATM services, or mobile app. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean to find out more.
Shell is taking you on an exciting journey with its summer promotion. Now through September 14th. Enter for your chance to win a brand new 2018 Toyota Yaris. Just make a minimum purchase of $20 worth of fuel from any Shell service station in Nassau. Answer the skill question on the entry form and submit. The grand prize will be drawn on September 14th. Other weekly prizes include free fuel vouchers and VIP packages to see Jay-Z and Beyonce live in concert August 31st at the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. For more info, visit their Facebook page at Sun Oil Bahamas.
If you've been experiencing back pain, then you may want to listen to this story. Kelsey Johnson went to the experts to get some relief.
There are many myths and misconceptions when it comes to back pain. The top for women is wearing and walking in high heels. For men, it's bad standing. But there's one thing the experts do agree on, and that's bad posture.
It's multifactorial and it depends on, it's very unique. Back pain is very unique. So what we tell people is it could be obesity, because obesity leads to increased weight on the joints. It could be lack of activity. It could be that you actually have other medical conditions that are referring to your back. But more commonly, it's posture, it's the way we sit at work, maybe the way our workstations are set up. It's really multifactorial.
Culmer encourages persons to get checked out and not to ignore the signs. She says it is critical because there are major risk factors involving back pains and that more is being done to bring awareness. Saturday, September 8th was Physiotherapy World Day, where persons here locally were able to get checked out.
Physiotherapists are movement specialists, and we are not able to see persons directly, but with a physician's referral, we are able to help persons who have back pain.
What is the worst back pain or symptoms a person can have?
I would say most commonly people complain of aches in their back, but then they also complain of shooting pains down their legs. Those would be the two worst symptoms that persons complain of. And it could be really debilitating for anybody who is active because back pain tends to slow you down.
Now, your mattress can also cause you back pain. How you sleep, right?
Well, a poor mattress could do many things, and then lack of sleep, your tolerance for pain is already going to be far lower. So yes, having the appropriate mattress is also important.
And if you do suffer from back pains, here's what you can do to rectify the problem.
So we would take you through an evaluation. First of all, we're actually going to look at you from head to toe, even if your diagnosis is specifically your back, because we want to see what all the contributing factors are. We're going to look at your posture. We're going to look at your flexibility, look at your strength. And with the medical knowledge of what your physician diagnosed you with, we're able to use all of that information and create a customized exercise prescription for you.
I don't have any back pains, but I still got a much-needed massage from the experts, while others went through the routines designed to assist and eventually correct theirs.
I believe you should have a physiotherapist just like how you have a general practitioner. You should be doing a regular checkup with your physical therapist, especially if you know that you have a diagnosis or underlying condition, especially an orthopedic condition.
Kelsey Johnson, ZNS Network News.
It was a somber moment for students at the University of the Bahamas as they reflected on the life of one of their own. 18-year-old Britannia Leary died last week after battling a rare disease that led to renal failure. His mother and pastor, who traveled from Abaco for the event, joined students as they remembered Britannia as one who played an active role in campus life. Friends remembered the young man who was part of a campus dance group as someone who was never fake and always real. Tribute was paid to him through music and other means, while others spoke highly of Britannia, who they say always had a smile. With the young man's funeral planned for his hometown in Abaco, University of the Bahamas officials say they wanted to allow the student body, as well as his friends whose lives he touched, to have an opportunity to say goodbye. Stay with us. There's more to come. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the National Report, your news leader.
What if you looked in the mirror and saw something different? A small difference, a big difference. What if that difference changed your life forever? What if it caused you to question your beauty? Your body may change, a small change, a big change, but your life is defined by your interior, not your exterior. I felt, I called, I tested, I acted. I won. I am the cure, a living story of survival. Be the cure. Live the life you love and love the life you live. At Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center, your life matters.
If you own a portfolio of securities within a brokerage account, like stocks, bonds, or mutual funds, you can access a hassle-free loan, known as a margin loan, based on the value of that portfolio. Your investment portfolio is essentially used as collateral for a cash loan. And the benefits are numerous. Simple and straightforward application, quick turnaround, a more competitive interest rate, no requirement for monthly payments. Contact us for more information on margin loans.
We are Machinery and Energy Limited, your cat dealer for the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, and the Cayman Islands. We also carry a selection of allied brands like JLG, Wacker Neuson, and Solaire. Our extensive product line includes tractors, excavators, backhoe loaders, telehandlers, forklifts, light towers, aerial equipment, marine engines, and of course, our specialty cat generator sets. Need parts or equipment maintenance? We offer that too. Everything you need all in one place. Visit one of our branches in Nassau, Freeport, or Abaco for your construction and power generation needs.
Understanding that reading is fundamental and wanting to do our part to assist our kids towards a common future, a team of BTC's volunteers left our corporate offices today to come here to the Sybil Strawn Primary School to read to students.
Scooby-Doo box from the back of the mystery machine.
I'm a part of BTC's I Volunteer team. And of course, we do a lot of other stuff, but this one is just reading to the students, which I quite enjoy because kids don't understand, or people on the whole don't understand the importance of reading. So I was more than happy to assist with this exercise today.
It meant a lot because it showed that reading is important. And as you can see, I have an all-boys class, and my aim is to get them more involved and love reading. And so this was a great exercise that you guys did today.
I'm not surprised that they would even think of something like this because it is our job, BDC's job, the company's job, to reach out and help wherever help is needed. And of course, reading, comprehension, literature, this is very important to making it in life because you really and truly need to be able to read, certainly to be able to speak properly and to, perform on a job. So it's very important, and BTC took this initiative, and I'm very pleased that they did, and I'm really not surprised because this is what we do. We help.
Thank you, BTC.
So story time has ended today, but the students have assured us that the reading will continue. And we'll see you next BTC Connection.
Every island, every key. Keep in touch with everybody. It's BTC every day. Every day, every day, every day. Every day.
Well, it's time for a check on the weather in your part of the Bahamas. And Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us again in studio with the latest temperatures. And Basil, it was still a bit humid here in Providence, although it looked like it was about to rain.
It certainly did. Will be humid again tomorrow. We'll give you the details on that later on. And also the tropics extremely busy, and despite all the activity going on in the tropics, it's still relatively safe here in the Bahamas. Right now, we're going to take a look at temperatures around the Family Islands, and they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 84 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, Green Toll Key at 84. 86 degrees in Marsh Harbor, that's in Abaco. The Berry Islands, 84, 84. Also in Alderstown, Bimini, 84 is again in Harbor Island. Roxanne, Eleuthera, Alderstown, Cat Island, 82. 84 in Staniel Key in the Exuma Chain. Kemp, Space, Andros, Fresh Creek, and Central Andros also reporting 84 degrees. And then a little cooler as we get into San Salvador, Rum Key, and Georgetown, Exuma. Their mercury column got up to 82 degrees. 83 in Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Magona, Atkins, and Ragged Island. Matthewtown, Inagua, 84. And the Turks and Caicos Islands at 83 degrees. Your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Pink Setter. In the Northwestern Islands, you can expect light and wearable winds. They're going to be 1 to 3 feet will be your wave heights, very flat sea conditions. High tide takes place at 9:48 tonight. As we go into the central Bahamas tonight, northeast to east winds 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet, and there will be some moderate swells still lurking around the central Bahamas. For the southeast Bahamas, winds light and variable. At 1 to 3 feet would be those wave heights. High tide 10:17 in the morning, low tide taking place at 4:38 in the afternoon. And as we take you into Thursday for the central Bahamas, southeast winds 10 to 15 knots, wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean, and that's no caution flags are in place for your boaters. And again for the southeast winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet with a moderate chop. And then on Friday for the northwestern islands, light and variable winds once again with very flat seas 1 to 3 feet. High tide 11:08 in the morning, low tide at 5:31, pardon me, in the afternoon. And then in the central islands, an east to southeast flow 10 to 15, wave heights 2 to 4 feet. For the southeast, easterly winds 12 to 18 knots, and the wave heights 3 to 6 feet over the ocean. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It is time now for your trial forecast, and your trial forecast is brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. For your trial forecast brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is coming up in about 20 minutes.
Welcome to Tips for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Talking about mental illness can be hard. There is a stigma that surrounds mental health and mental illness. It can prevent people from getting the support and help they need. But mental illness is a common problem. In fact, 1 in 5 people will experience some sort of mental illness in their lifetime. So don't be afraid to reach out for help. Your family doctor is a good place to start. For some people, the thought of talking to their doctor about their mental health is scary. But getting treatment for mental illness is important. It rarely goes away on its own. Left untreated, it can get worse, lead to other health problems, or last for a long time. Deciding to talk to your doctor about your mental health is the first step to your journey to feeling better. Every mental illness has its own list of symptoms, but there are common ones that could be red flags that something is wrong. These include loss of appetite, thinking negative thoughts about yourself, frequently feeling anxious or worrying a lot, irritability or moodiness, having trouble concentrating, not enjoying life as much as you used to, finding day-to-day life difficult, like getting out of bed or going to work, trouble sleeping or sleeping too much, seeing or hearing things that aren't there. If you've noticed any of these changes over the last few weeks or months, you should consider making an appointment with your family doctor. This has been Tips for Wellness. I'm Dr. Indira Grimes. Live your best life by living well.
Life happens, and when it does, FG Insurance Agents and Brokers is here. We help you protect the assets you've worked hard to attain. We offer home, auto, marine, commercial, and liability insurance. Don't hesitate to protect what matters with FG Insurance Agents and Brokers. Visit us and speak to your agent today, or call us at 396-1490 in Nassau or 688-1500 in Freeport.
Whether you want to get going in a new car, to relax at home while you pay bills on your mobile banking app, to get the best rewards with your credit card, or to get a sure start on your little one's future. Whether you want a quick response on your loan, or just a range of services that keep your business running smoothly, you want banking that fits your life. CIBC First Caribbean. Banking that fits your life.
Robin Hood flour is bigger and better. When you bake with Robin Hood, you're baking with the best. And you get more for your money. Next time you shop at the food store, stop and compare. Robin Hood flour gives you more for your money. Go with the flour that's bigger and better. Robin Hood flour. Find it at your favorite food store.
Introducing the Subway Simple 6 menu. 6 of our best 6-inch subs, now and made just for you meals for just $7.50 every day. Take your pick from our best subs, like the Italian BMT, tender turkey breast, sweet onion chicken teriyaki, and more. Pile them high with all of your favorite veggies, made just the way you say, with a 21-ounce drink and a bag of chips. The new Simple 6 menu is value made simple every day. Yeah, you so got it made. Subway, eat fresh.
Clean clothes for the family, uniforms for the baby, suit for mommy and daddy. We want you to press and to clean the Super Bowl. If you wanna look fly and you wanna look clean, if you wanna look fresh, better than all the rest. Bring on your church clothes and all your work clothes. Bring on your cheering clothes. The Super Wash.
Today is a day for fun. Today is a day for family. So why should yesterday's worries affect my today? That's why I insure my family with J.S. Johnson, because their mission is to provide us with the best insurance coverage possible. With J.S. Johnson, I know my family comes first, so I take comfort in knowing that they always have us covered, providing us with a great today and an even better tomorrow.
J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by Fourth Terrace Diagnostic Center.
Welcome to sports, everybody. The New Providence Softball Association's best of 5 first-round playoffs back on the diamond last night with their backs against the wall in a must-win game. The Platinum Pool Sharks did what they had to at the plate and on the base pads as they devoured the Johnson Truckers 11-4 in 6 innings to tie the series at 2 games all and force a winner-take-all Game 5.
We just had to keep a positive mind so that we'll be able to win the game, and we just had to hit and get our runs in. I think we'd have to stay positive and stay as a team in order to win.
We were really flat, you know, and we made a lot of defensive mistakes. We didn't hit the ball we needed to. We didn't get the key hits at the time we needed it. And, you know, you can't go into the playoffs playing with that kind of intensity. You have to come like you want to win the game, but we didn't come with that tonight. So what it means is that you got to dig deeper, and that means that the pitcher have to pitch more games, and you don't really want your pitcher just pitching back to back to back, and then, you know, you have the playoffs starting on Saturday. So no one have no advantage, you know. You got to go there, you play the game between the lines, and that's the way the game is played. It's runs and errors. It just happened that we made most of the errors tonight, and the outcome was that we lost. We just have to come out here, hit the ball, and play good defense and back up the pitcher. We're going to do what we need to do on Thursday night and put it together and win.
From the minor league baseball diamond last night, Jazz Rado Chisholm going 1 for 5 as Visalia lost Game 1 of the California League's Best of 5 championship. They fell 5-4 at home to Ranch Cucamonga. Game 2 is tonight. The University of the Bahamas men's soccer team has already started its 2018 season, opening up with a draw and a loss during a 2-match series in Pennsylvania. And this year's squad looks a bit different from the one that took the pitch in 2017.
The university has allowed me to go into Grand Bahama and reach into the Grand Bahamian community and give opportunities to students out of Grand Bahama. You know, sometimes New Providence we get Nassau-centric, so it's good to get out of New Providence and get into other islands. I have 3 players that are coming in from Grand Bahama, and I have an additional 5 players that are coming in from New Providence. So, you know, last year was good, but like I said, there's an X, so we have to get good, better, best. We've got to work on getting to our best, and so we've gone out, recruited a number of players.
While there are some new players on the team, the Mingos have a couple of returners who are leading the way.
The University of the Bahamas has the blessing of having 2 of the premier goalkeepers in the country, and when I say premier, not just in grass or field soccer, but also in beach soccer. In the person of the gentleman next to me, and my captain, Julio Jameson, has been the men's national team goalkeeper for beach soccer in the FIFA World Cup, and he's also a part of the call-up system, and he's injured at this time, just recovering. Otherwise, he would be in Belize. And then the other gentleman, Mr. Michael Butler, is also a men's national team keeper, and he was the keeper for the men's team during the Commonwealth Games. So it is a tremendous comfort to have that level of skill, keeping, you know, we call it the goal, and it is the goal. I mean, if you can imagine, you know, if you had a city of gold, the whole idea is to keep it to yourself, right? Well, these gentlemen do an excellent job of keeping goal, and last year in the league, we were the team that were scored on the least.
Bahamian head coach Lonnie Green was introduced as the new track and field head coach of the Kentucky Wildcats in July. And yesterday, he added fellow Bahamian Debbie Ferguson-McKenzie to his staff as an assistant. Debbie joins the ranks at UK after spending the past 4 seasons at the University of Houston, where she helped build that program into a nationally relevant contender. She had an immediate impact when she joined the staff there during 2014-2015, as 3 of our athletes would go on to the NCAA West Regionals. Back here at home, the Sunblazers Track and Field Club already putting in the work ahead of the new season. They're at Goodman's Bay a couple times a week, working in the sand and in the water.
This is actually our 2nd week of training, and so this is our off-season training. We're just going through our phases, so I like to start the kids off on surfaces that are not as hard as the track. It allows them to gradually progress. And so today we're in the water because we're offering some resistance, and they're able to relax the muscles at the same time.
Harville went on to talk about some of his club's standout athletes.
Oscar Smith, he's a Carifta athlete. He is also a part of the World Junior team this year. There's also India Cartwright. She was a silver medalist in the 400 hurdles at Carifta this year. There's Paige Stewart. She's an 11th grader now at QC, and she's one of the top girls in the under-17 division. Allison Taylor, she's in the under-20 girls, and she runs the distance event.
After failing to pull off a full season last year, the New Providence Women's Basketball Association has a new executive board in place, and President Devin Johnson says they will be ready to tip off at the end of November.
Right now, we should have but 8 teams so far confirmed to play. Last year we had 4, so it's like a 100% boost from last year. So we're looking forward to a great season, a great competition. Me and my executive teams, we trying to gather some sponsorship, try to make the league a little better than it was for the past few years that it was. It was not a bad league, but we're just trying to implement some new stuff to try to attract the more younger kids to come into the league, to try to develop their talents, to see if we could try to get some scholarships for these high school kids.
As they turn their focus more on the youth, Johnson says they're also getting the assistance of former players who are willing to give back.
Some of the players who have played before, some are coming back to bring a team and even bring a team in the league and coach also. So that's a good response for now. We're going to continue with the junior program that mine has started, which was a great success for. We're going to try and continue that. We're in the process now in trying to host a tournament for the October 25th, the midterm weekend. We're trying to host a tournament out for junior girls and senior girls. Hopefully we get our letters out by the end of this week so we can have these teams signed up and ready to go.
Boxer Misha Major Payne is scheduled for his last pro fight next month at the C.I. Gibson Gym, and from there his focus will be solely on the Major Payne Amateur Boxing Club.
We have a talent out there, but right now just need to be nurtured. Young guys need to be more active and have the experience and be able, but I think for like the next 2 to 3 years it's going to take fully to develop a national team, because right now it's only Carl Hill right now taking the flag around, and we don't have no other fighters that's on the level to say go represent the Bahamas. So right now it's at a building stage, and that's what we want to do, try to build these young fighters and help them, become far better than I am, and that's the whole major thing about it for us, myself and Cato Ferguson, to be able to help these young fighters to become better than myself and all the other BMN boxers that was before us.
Sparkle's Cheer All-Stars looking to make a name for itself here in the 242. Founder and organizer Jade Sparks spoke about how many cheerleaders they have on board.
It fluctuates, so some days we'll have 10, some days we'll have 15, some days some don't come to practice, but it's okay. We're out here Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 4:30 to 6:30. They love it. They're so keen about it, and that's what makes me happy. They come to practice, and then this is what they do. They do it, and they try, and they're excited about it. They're most excited to cheer, put on their uniform. I can't disclose until September 24th, but there will definitely be good news. There's a federation coming, definitely, without a doubt. So we don't have a schedule as of yet, but a schedule will be built. We're working on it.
And that will do it for sports. Stay tuned. The Bahamas Tonight comes back after the break.
ZNS Total Sports is brought to you by 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center.
You can count on me. Just call me and I'll come by.
My first memory of music would have been a performance when everyone was singing the song. The song was Drop Down and Come Up Slow, and everyone in the crowd was singing. I was amazed. I was in shock.
I did not always want to be a performer, I actually wanted to be a doctor. And when I was on my way to med school, I had this called Epiphany, and I went to Berkeley College of Music, and that's when I made the switch.
If I weren't singing, I'd be singing. I love track and field.
Many different things inspire me. It isn't anything specific. It's just, just enjoying the environment. And that's what I think music should be about, being free.
Tap of a button, I'm able to get in contact with persons all the way across the world. Technology acts as that bridge that keeps me connected.
BTC in one word, I would have to say clutch.
Connected family. Family.
Every day.
ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Watch our live channel to keep up with what's going on in the nation. News updates, we've got you covered. Tune into our radio stations with just a swipe. On the road, on the go, we're here with you. Available for download on the App Store and the Google Play Store.
5, weather, sports, and entertainment. Wake up with the Morning Edition. Weekdays, 7 a.m., right here on the ZNS Television Network.
What I love most about working for the Bahamas tonight is that we don't only focus on New Providence. We cover the entire Bahamas. We have a team here in the Northern Bahamas that is ready to bring you the stories, the people, and the news that matter to you. From point A to Z, from covering hurricanes to elections and everything in between.
Business owners are excited about ZNS Northern Service Storm Central Hurricane Packages because advertising rates are discounted up to 50%. That's right, get 50% off advertising packages this hurricane season from now through November 30th. Call our sales department at 351-3430 or 352-9713 and book your advertising package today.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we take you to the tropics on our satellite map, and we have 4 named systems sitting out there in the Atlantic. This has only happened twice before. The first time in 1893. The second time it took place was in 1988, and again it's occurring in 2018. And we have another area in the Gulf of Mexico. The Hurricane Center is giving it about a 70% chance of developing, and if that happened, we would have 5 named systems in the Atlantic, all in the same basin, all at one time. This has only happened once before in 1971, and if we can achieve that over the next couple of days, this will only be the second time that we had 5 named systems in the Atlantic basin. And in the far eastern Atlantic, we have Hurricane Helene, which has been there now for a few days. It's moving towards the north-northeast at about 16 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds have been reduced to 85 miles per hour. Last night, it was packing winds of about 115 miles per hour. So that's a significant drop in intensity for Helene. The good news for us is that it's moving towards the north-northwest, and it will not be a problem to us here in the Bahamas, but certainly for the shipping lanes of the Atlantic. Joyce, this form late this afternoon. It's now a subtropical storm, packing winds of 45 miles per hour. The initial movement is towards the southwest at about 6 miles per hour. And again, this too will remain in the far eastern Atlantic and no problem to land mass. Isaac, which was trying to get up to hurricane intensity, has fallen apart as well, is moving under some hostile atmospheric conditions. The wind speeds are now down to 60 miles per hour as it takes aim now for the Lesser Antilles. We anticipate landfall sometime late on Thursday as it moves through Martinique, which will be one of those islands that will be directly impacted by Isaac. And then Florence, again, a very powerful storm over the last several days, has lost much of its punch. It's now down to 120 miles per hour, making it a minimal Category 3 hurricane, but it will still have some major impact for the Carolinas come Thursday and Friday of this week. The reason being, the winds are still relatively strong, capable of creating quite a bit of structural damage, and rainfall associated with this system is going to be a menace for those in the Carolinas, also in the Georgia area. The reason being, we anticipate that this hurricane will slow down, and that's certainly bad news for those in the area of the Carolinas and the Atlanta area, because rainfall totals of up to about 25 inches can be realized, and that will lead to some serious flooding in that area. Also, storm surge will be a major factor as the eye wall of this system makes landfall sometime Friday morning moving in. You can anticipate storm surge all the way up to about 13 feet. So a combination of storm surge, prolonged rainfall, and strong winds is going to make this a very, very dangerous hurricane as it moves in. Trailing out of that is a nice trough, and as you can see, right across the southeast Bahamas as we speak, and it's slowly moving into the central Bahamas, which will trigger 1 or 2 showers in that part of the Bahamas. And by tomorrow, some of these showers will move into the northwest Bahamas, so we'll have pockets of showers in the northwest Bahamas as a result of that trailing trough from Florence. And the tracking now, you can see it's moving towards the northwest, as we told you already, at about a good clip, 16 miles per hour. Then it will take a more shift towards the west, holding that intensity at Category 3 hurricane. Once it makes landfall, we expect it to gradually deteriorate, but the rainfall, as we said earlier, will be the major factor once it gets inland. The tracking of Isaac will continue in that westward track, but come Sunday and Monday of next week, it could make a turn towards the northwest, and if atmospheric conditions become more favorable, we can see some intensification of this system. The good news for us, it will have to climb over Cuba, which is a mountainous terrain, before it gets to us, but we will look at it very closely the early part of next week. And then finally, that area that is now moving into the Gulf of Mexico has that 70% chance of development. No problem for us in the Bahamas, but it certainly will be a rain-producing system for the Texas area over the weekend. And our forecast for tonight, we're going in for partly cloudy conditions. The low temperature will get down to 76 degrees. Tomorrow, we're looking at partly sunny with a couple of showers, mainly late in the afternoon, as that trough associated with Florence makes its way into the northwest Bahamas. The high temperature will get up to 89 degrees, and the heat index will be somewhere around 104 degrees because we expect the relative humidity also to increase come tomorrow. And our extended weather forecast over the next 7 days, showers remaining in the forecast into Thursday. It will dry out quite nicely on Friday, heading into weekend as Florence pull away, leaving behind drier conditions. And the winds are going to be quite light. So for those people who are interested in boating, the winds are going to be light, but you'll have to remember there will still be some moderate swells lurking around as a result of the passage of Florence.
So which day or what time can do boaters have to be aware of those high surf?
Well, right now, right into Friday, about thereafter, the swell should die down considerably, and we will have perfect boating conditions heading into Sunday and Monday of next week.
Great information, Basil. Thanks a lot. We also want to continue to encourage you to stay tuned to the ZNS television and radio networks for the latest weather alerts. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. On behalf of our teams here in Nassau and over in Freeport, thanks so much for tuning in. We hope to see you right back here tomorrow. Have a great evening, everyone.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Fed up with exorbitantly high fees, long lines, and overall poor customer service at our banks? Well, we're talking with the Clearing Banks Association to find out what can be done about that. It's in this edition of The Read Factor.